Hi, it's Tuesday, March 6th, and I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been working on as it pertains to our alliance. This site right here, Screencast-O-Matic, I thought might be a good site if we're able to have this functionality with our students' computers. I tested it out with our Chromebooks at Hillel, and they work fine. Um, what this allows us to do is to be able to send video messages to each other and also to show what's on the screen. So here we have the Screencast-O-Matic site. And again, you don't have to download anything. There's no digital footprint, nothing here that you would be required to get. And you can see I'm now taking over to Edmodo, and I opened Alliance, and you have me as the one member right now. But you can see right up here, the class code is right here, and um, I will, if you guys are interested, we can invite people. We can work on this, and it looks a lot like Facebook, but again, it's not open to the public. It's just open to our group, and we can create groups within it, within our classrooms, um, and put people on projects therein. Speaking of which, I've taken um, I've taken the Teachers Pay Teachers information, the packet, and I've modified it a bit. And I thought this is what I was hoping to do with my students, and I didn't know if you'd want to do this as well. I can send this over to you, but I wanted to talk about some literary elements, the protagonist. Um, this is written out in there, what they are, but then I didn't know if this would be a good icebreaker to share some of this. It's not something we can do with 26 students all on the spot, but maybe we could, um, you know, write this out and then post it. And you can post it on Edmodo to share a time in your life where you have been the protagonist. It's always nice to share out instances when you've been the hero and perhaps an upstander there. Now, the rest of this vocabulary, I think, is key, but we can pick through this. But I was pretty excited about this. This is something I came up with, and I hope you like it. If not, it's okay. Taking what we talked about, I wrote down the purpose of this alliance and trip is for us to develop our moral imperative together as a Jewish community. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. It is something that we cannot ignore. Social justice that occurred in Birmingham, Alabama, or in Little Rock, Arkansas, revealed what was common there. So tying this back to literary elements, setting includes both time and place. And given that we have 26 students, if I remember correctly, I have a number of different places right here so that if we partner up, just so that everybody will be accounted for. You'll be partner up and asked to investigate the following settings to better understand the norms there. Evidence your learning with a PowerPoint presentation. I'm assuming we can access that. I don't know if we have access to OneDrive or Google Drive, any of that. We should probably talk and see how we can share this. Obviously, Edmodo will allow us to do that too, as I found out. But anyhow, looking at different places, you have Selma, Alabama in 1965, but also Selma, Alabama in 2018. We could have two students to report on the setting then in 1965, and I pointed to the march to Montgomery, as we'll cover that on our trip. Also, 1963, focusing on the letter from Birmingham jail, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then in 2018, the same place, Birmingham, Alabama, but today. And then focusing on the book, 1957, Little Rock, Arkansas, the Little Rock Nine, drawing attention to that, and then 2018, Little Rock today. Just contrasting the the dates, how things have changed over time, or maybe how they haven't. And then 1955, Montgomery, um, and drawing attention to the bus boycott that happened there. And then in 2018, Montgomery as well, and because we'll be there. Now Rochester, where I'm located, looking at it in 1847, two students would be assigned to that to focus on the Abolitionist Weekly North Star, which is something that Frederick Douglass wrote at that time. And just a simple Google search should give you ample material to be able to generate a few PowerPoint slides to explain what Rochester was like there. And we can compile all of these PowerPoint presentations or share them out. I'm not sure. This is something that you'd be interested in doing over time for us to work together. And then obviously Rochester, New York today. Now, looking at Greensboro, North Carolina, 1820, the trial of Benjamin Benson, the significance of that, and Greensboro, North Carolina today. Two students would report on that. Looking at Woodbridge, Connecticut in 1661, and at that point it was one of the hideouts of the regicides. Looking that up and finding out the significance of that, and obviously people in Woodbridge, you would know a bit about that offhand. Perhaps we wouldn't want students from there to do it. I don't know, or maybe we would, or one with and one without. I think the big thing is just making it so our biggest group isn't paired up with people from the same group. So if we worked off of that and then had one Hillel student with them, I mean, just different students, I think that would be best in looking at Woodbridge today. So, so just looking at setting and how that plays a role with civil rights, and I just defines our moral imperative, and and then the next is going back to the settings of what's the setting of the story in chapter 1, and just some general questions that they have. This is from the Teachers Pay Teachers packet. And again, I edited it a bit, but this all was what I thought might be useful. I took some of it out just for what I'd work with my students. But I can send this over to you, what I have, these few pages, things that we can work on for vocabulary, for sure. One of the things that I'm doing is looking at the magic squares. I talked to my math teacher, and he's actually reading the book as well, and he's interested because of how pervasive math is in there. Now, there are 25 prime numbers between 1 and 100, and we're looking at 26 students. So maybe we can look at the first 26 numbers, and we can assign students different prime numbers. I don't know if that would be something clever to work on with that. But this is what I have. I've taken away from the Teachers Pay Teacher packet. All the credit goes to Kristen Levine that I purchased this from. But the one thing I want to note is the way the chapters are sequenced. This is not just 1 through 10. If you're going to use this as like an anchor, it goes through 9. And given that, I thought we might do well to go over our weeks differently. So instead of going 1 through 10 with our first week, we go 1 through 9. And then week 2, following the packet, it's segmented 10 through 14 and 15 through 19. So week 2 would be chapters 10 through 19. Make that a little bit bigger. And then 3 would be 20 through 29. 4 would be 30 through 38. 5 would be 39 through 47. And 6, 48 through 57. Again, these are just ideas that I had after taking a closer look at all of this. So the other thing, just with the setting, I made a little rubric, the social justice setting rubrics. Some of the students um, in how they looked at it, sequencing, originality, spelling, grammar, use of graphics and sources, just basic stuff. But just letting them know the expectations therein. The other thing I wanted to show you was the Kahoot that I cooked up. And here's some of the questions. And me over here because that's annoying. All right, so question number one is, what does integration mean? Again, this is a pre-assessment, just to see where they are. And what does integration mean? Which of the following people was not part of the civil rights movement? What is passing in the context of the 1950s book? What does that mean? That one would have gotten me for sure. What president signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 into law? Which Supreme Court decision ruled segregation in public schools was unconstitutional? And we're just coming at it from different angles to just see what information they know. What incidents sparked the Montgomery bus boycott? Today, when in blank, black boys are projected to go to jail or prison in his lifetime. And that's a quote from the Equal Justice Initiative. Where did Martin Luther King Jr. deliver his "I Have a Dream" speech? And segregation was a requirement for all of these states except, and what was Little Rock 9? And all of these inspired Dr. King's philosophy of nonviolence except. And how did the first Africans come to what we now know the United States, now called the United States of America. And lynching is defined as Bloody Sunday. Where did that take place? And as of March 1st, the Southern Poverty Law Center documented blank active hate groups in the United States. And again, this is just kind of getting things started, like a bit of an icebreaker, pre-assessment. I don't know if any of this is of interest to you. I just thought it would be good. You guys have been doing such great work. If I were to contribute in these ways, I know that we were just looking at the Kahoot, and I apologize that I didn't realize that we were going to do the Kahoot this week because I'm not done with my unit yet. But it seems like the snow is kind of working that out anyway. Let's stay in touch, and we'll continue to work on this. Thanks for your attention, and I won't have these be so long in the future. I guess I just had a lot to cover. All right.